Sure. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Box Office Banter. We are finally going to be talking some Predator because we just couldn't contain ourselves anymore. We're going to be talking the first one, the second one, the third one, and the fourth one.
Of them? I mean, how shitty are these movies?
Well, time out now. All of them but the crossovers with Alien. No AVP, no...
Oh, my God.
Did you forget those?
I watched those.
Those
Those are the ones I watched.
That sounds realistic, but he is joking, thankfully. At least I fucking hope. Who knows what we're in for with Rodney, though? I don't know. Like, he's dialed up the dumbness even more lately for some reason. Seemed like he calmed it down a little bit, but it's coming back with full force. So, Predator 1, guys. We didn't do our normal notes. Tyler. Shit, I'm used to Tyler being, like, at the very end of the table.
Where is Tyler? He was supposed to be here like 10 minutes ago.
I don't know, man. We'll cover that maybe on Monday Mayhem.
Jackass. He's so dumb. He's
dumb
Predator,
fuck.
Bro.
Yeah, Predator,
What a
bro.
classic. This movie is an all-time classic for sure.
Yep.
Everybody that talks about Predator usually loves Predator.
100%.
No exception.
Is that your that's it?
That
That's
was
all you
my
got?
review of Predator.
Okay, yeah. No notes this time, guys. We're just gonna spitball it from each movie to each movie because we didn't write notes because we're pieces of shit. But enjoy. Predator. Who wants to start us off? Anybody?
Who's your favorite character of the main group of people? Just curious.
It's got to be Dutch, dude.
I mean, naturally Dutch.
It's impossible. Not
But we were just talking about
Billy?
Yeah,
Billy.
Billy
Billy's
is the
Billy for
shit.
me,
Billy
dude.
would be my outside of Dutch. Obviously, I feel like that's an obvious.
I like them all.
choice.
Mac is tough too.
The other guy who got, what was it? He got shot or stabbed or something.
Blaine.
The one that was like bleeding, and he's like, "Oh, you're bleeding." He's like, "I don't have time."
Yeah,
to
that's
bleed."
Blaine. Yeah, it's Jesse Ventura.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the fucking best. And Mac, his best friend, dude.
Yeah.
Mac. He's like, long tall Sally. She learned everything. That Uncle Johnny.
We can go on and
I'ma
get it
have
out
me
the
some
way.
fun.
The
I'ma
meat
have me
heavy,
some fun.
like one of the most iconic scenes in movie history. And you say it the best, so do it.
Which one?
The Dylan.
Not good at it, but I say it the best maybe at this table. Dylan, you son of a bitch. Like, that's all I got.
Most
It's not
manly
great.
handshake you've ever seen.
Yeah, I just recreated that on my Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, but it ain't no Carl Weathers, Arnold
Well,
Schwarzenegger.
no, it was close. No, I'm just playing. We're not on that level. But finally had to do it. Yeah, that's fucking iconic. The stick around when he puts dude to the post with a knife. The fucking kicks the door. He's like, knock, knock. Like, all that stupid shit is so much fun.
What? This was 87?
87.
I want to say it's right.
Yep.
So it was like a little past the prime of the 80s movies, like the horror movies and shit, but like right in the seemed like a sweet spot where technology was starting to get a little bit better and shit. Because there are some scenes in this movie that like I was like, damn.
This movie holds
really
up.
Good. Yeah.
I think it really holds up.
Really well.
And the jungle looks great too. Honestly, I feel like
I love it.
Did they really film in the jungle? I would assume.
It feels that way to me. I mean, it's hot as shit.
Sometimes
We
I
know
can't tell
that.
if it's a set or if it's like a legitimate.
It looks like a legitimate jungle, 100%. But like that's the thing. I know it was hot as fuck. I can tell you that much because Van Damme was originally the Predator,
Oh, that's
and
right.
he
the
left.
suit.
Yeah, he left the set because I think Schwarzenegger even called him like what is it, like not a rigorous complainer, but something like that. But I
Van
mean,
Damme?
yeah. And they're cool now, but back then, and he's just being real about that time. But I mean, I could see that though. Like, if it's that hot and I'm in a suit and I'm just like, I'm about to pass out. Like, I'm probably gonna be like, I'm about to fucking pass out right now, guys. Like, I don't know if I can do this.
100%.
Fuck, it's
Most
hot.
of it was filmed in the jungles in Mexico.
Relentless,
Okay.
relentless
It really
complainer.
was.
That's what he said. So it isn't.
Like, look at that waterfall. Like, they were really there.
Oh, dude. So what about the buildup of this movie? Because I think it's one of the most fantastic buildups of a movie like ever. Because there's so many layers to it and ones that we take for granted. But if you go back, you remember like old trailers from like the 80s and shit, they're really vague. People didn't really, they're just like, oh, let's go to the movies tonight to see this new Arnold movie. It's Predator. And they're watching this and starts out like it's harmless. It's just like, you could be like, oh, they're the Predators. They're fucking going in and killing people, and they're trying to figure out what happened to their team. And then you see what happened to the team, and you're like, what the fuck did this? And you're piecing that together with them. Like, now it seems normal, but if you go back and think of what the people in the audience were thinking, they're just like, holy shit, what did do that? Like, that can't be a fucking man. And then you see like little layers. You see Predator up like talking. You see his vision. You're like, what the fuck is looking at them right now?
And it's in like that thermo.
Oh yeah,
the heat sensory or whatever it is.
and then he's copying their words, like anytime, like what Max says, and it's just like, what the fuck is this? And then you see it, and it's like, chameleon type form, and you're like, what the fuck is that? What am I looking at right now? And then it gets from the chameleon form, and it shows its like hand, and you're like, oh my god, what the fuck is that? Now it's out of the chameleon form, and then you full on see it come out of the tree, and you're like, what the fuck is that? That is fucking crazy. And then at the very end, he takes it off and he does the iconic, and you're like, what in the fuck is that? That is insane. Like the layers of like, what are we dealing with? What are we dealing with? What are we dealing with? Are off the charts in this fucking movie.
Yeah, it was masterfully done how they slowly, like you were saying, revealed and like built up to see what the actual predator
and by
is.
adding kills to it too, so it's like each time a kill happens, you start with not seeing where it came from, to like little steps of being able to see. Dude, Predator is a scary motherfucker, dude. Something that just wants to hunt for fun, like that.
For sport.
Yeah, and that's what's wild about it too, dude. Is like it's just like the creature design is fucking like this is debatably. And very well could be my favorite look of any monster in like a movie, down to like the weapons and the fucking like mask. And this is the original Predator. The one's past that. I do like the look of the second one, but I think it gets a little worse as it goes. Like maybe I'm just a sucker for that original look. The fucking fishnet, the claws, the way Kevin Peter Hall moves around. He was 7 foot, but he also took ballet. Like that one scene always gives me chills. It's so brief when he fucking like jumps from rock to rock. You remember he just goes like, he's like, to this rock, to this rock,
like
to this rock.
Almost.
Yeah, and then he like falls down and he does like a fucking like, he puts his hands down like this and he like kind of slowly raises up. It's like, dude, that is badass. There's so many little touches in this
Gives
movie.
Brandon chills.
You want to talk about the waterfall, dude? When Arnold Schwarzenegger falls off that fucking waterfall, I feel him every time in that moment. He's like, oh shit. Like I can only imagine. But this is another touch that nobody talks about. There's these little things that add up so much. When you hear the Predator crash in the water behind him, and it's playing that music, which we'll get to that, Jesus Christ, and you see the Predator doesn't just come out of the water. You see like his like claws, and they're just going like above the water, just barely, and then he gets up, and then he's like pressing buttons and shit to fix his fucking camouflage. Perfection.
The intensity of it was really good, for sure.
And what about Billy made him like your favorite character? Anything in particular?
I think I got the like strong silent type vibes from him. Because he doesn't say too much, but like you don't want to fuck with this guy.
And that's what makes it so excellent.
Yeah, and, like,
because even when Poncho comes over, because there's times where Billy's just like looking in the fucking distance because he's the tracker, so he
can like sense it.
He can catch on.
Almost.
Yeah, so he's just sitting there, and you'll just look at him. He's just looking in the distance, and then finally, the shit's popping off, and Poncho just walks over to him, and he's like, "What is it, Billy?" He's just like looks back at him. He's like, "I'm scared, Poncho." And he's like, "Bullshit, man. You've never been scared." He's just like, "You're not scared of no man." He's like, "There's something out there, Poncho, and it ain't no man." And he just walks off like a G, and it's like he's like, "We're all gonna die."
I think he could see the Predator, like how no one else could, like with the camouflage.
Oh
I think
my God.
Because of him having the tracking skills he has.
Yeah,
I think he saw him.
dude, it gives me
If anything,
chills.
like a glimmer, like a glimpse of him.
That's straight chills when he says that, and he walks off with like a smirk, like, "Yep, that's it." And you can see on Poncho's face too, like, if Billy's acting like this, it's like the whole group just got a lot more afraid in that fucking moment.
Like followed his vibe or whatever.
Yeah.
Like setting the whole tone.
And his laugh. Dude, his laugh, what he gifted the Predator at the end when the Predator's like, like that whole thing. Fucking magnificent, dude. So what'd you think about, let's just talk about like characters since there's only like 7. What'd you think of like Poncho's character? You think he was solid? He's the more skinny dude.
Is that the Shane Black character?
No, Shane Black is Hawkins.
Hawkins, okay.
Poncho's the guy that gets dusted, like the last guy to get killed. He's the guy that gets hit in the stomach where he's like, I can make it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Poncho, he's solid. Hawkins, honestly, Shane Black's like the only character I'm like, but like he was there, like he told all those stupid jokes and shit, and that's what finally triggered Billy to laugh. But I mean, all of them, dude. If we'd have thought this,
I thought the jokes were funny, even though they were stupid as shit,
oh yeah.
dude.
He said because he said something like while I was eating her pussy, and he's like,
this is not
he's like,
funny, but it
why'd
is.
you say it twice? And it's like because of the echo, and Billy's just like, he finally got him to laugh.
Wait, was that an intended joke in one of the later ones?
Probably. Yeah.
I never picked. I think it's the last one. The dude with Tourette says something about "eat your pussy" or something.
Well,
he's like,
Shane
eat your
Black
pussy. He's like,
directed
is he all right?
the Predator,
Oh, yeah.
the fourth one.
So he probably threw that. Okay,
Yeah,
disconnected.
which is
Yeah.
kind of cool that he directed the fourth one and he was in the original one.
And that's why we had so much hope for it. What's another thing to talk about? Yeah, dude, the camaraderie between everybody. What about Carl Weathers' character, Dylan? Like everybody hates him, but I figured you would like him. He kind of has a redemption a little bit there.
Like Dylan really that much, just because I feel like it came out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden he's this like bad guy.
So you didn't like the direction that they took his character, or you didn't like his character?
I mean, obviously the direction with the redemption he had at the end, but at the beginning it was like, oh, okay, so these two guys have been through some shit together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it's like literally 2 minutes later in the helicopter, and it's like they hate each other's guts out of fucking nowhere, and now this is shady and that's shady, and
you set us up.
yeah, I don't know. I just didn't. I feel like he should have started a bad guy.
He had to get the best guys though.
Or yeah, I mean,
what are you gonna do? I guess.
Could have called Stallone.
Yeah, he's like, was fucking Rambo not available? He's fucking like screaming it in his face. He's literally the other action star. That guy didn't come up in your mind?
Or Jackie. Ooh, Predator with Jackie Chan.
That'd be fucking retarded, but maybe good somehow.
And Chris Tucker.
Yeah, man.
What is that motherfucker right there?
Yeah, dude. But the other thing that's weird about this movie too is like I think like the screams in this movie are fucking amazing. Like when he's like, Billy, let's go, and he like tosses it. And I've had people like I was just talking to Ricky. He's like, I just wish he didn't do this. This is dumb. And I'm like, no, man. Billy has been sensing this from the beginning, and he's tired of fucking running. He's like, we're getting picked off doing that. I'm about to just square the fuck up. Let's do this. It kind of sucks we didn't get to see it play out, but it's also kind of effective that way. It was something that bothered me a lot when I was a kid. I was like, why didn't I get to see them fight across this like big ass fucking tree log or whatever? And it was badass that he just took everything off, cut himself, like bring it like, bare bones. But I always wonder if maybe they did film something there, but maybe it just didn't have the same effect or it didn't look as good, so they left it at that. But that scream, when you hear him in the distance, they all turn around at once like, what the fuck? And then Carl Weathers' scream when he goes on the mission with Mac. I love their little meeting. He's just like, grabs him, he's freaking out, and he's like, you see it out there past them trees. Like that whole thing, he's like, I see it. We can get this thing, Mac. He's like, you go around this way, go around that. Goes horribly wrong. Carl Weathers' death is dope. And that scream, that roar he lets out, he's like, roar! Like I don't know how, like down to every little detail, dude. It's just done so well. I don't know what the fuck it is.
Arnold Schwarzenegger straight picked up the truck.
No, dude, yeah. And I've always believed that.
Oh, I guarantee.
Like
it was just an empty truck that he
every time, like action heroes back then were so bigger than life, I never questioned it. Like if Jason Statham even or somebody did that, I'd be like, no, it's not real. That's what I'm talking about. It's that star power, that aura. But what y'all think of the musical score for this movie? Because this is potentially my favorite musical score ever. And
I thought it fit perfect.
It's the most underrated fucking. There's so many different songs that replay, and it's so good.
I almost have like a Jaws vibe from the soundtrack on this.
Maybe that's why I like it.
With the whole da-da, not the Jaws theme, but like something similar to it. When watching it, I thought about Jaws in certain scenes with the way the music was going.
Almost like pulsing.
Yeah,
Maybe you're just thinking of my favorite movies.
I've never even seen what's Jaws.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, music fucking top fucking notch. Not talked about enough with this movie. I think it's one of the most underrated scores. And then if y'all ain't got nothing else to say, I want to talk about the battle at the end.
Oh,
or what do
real
else
quick,
you want to talk about?
Just
because
kind
there's
of
plenty
hypothetical.
that'll pop in my head. I just not thinking it now.
kind of hypothetical, but it happened with all four of these movies. But it really happens with the first one for me. But I try to, like, more than I usually do with movies, picture myself in the movie and, like, what I would do. I don't know why the first one draws me in so much more than the other ones. Yeah. But I'm like, how would I be responding in this situation? And it's fucking terrifying. Knowing this thing's got camouflage and it's practically invisible, you're like, oh,
and the weaponry that it has.
Yeah, it can blast you from a distance or just go whoosh.
And the fact that we wouldn't know it, but he has thermal vision, so you can't just hide from the motherfucker unless you're Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know?
Yeah, he lucked into that.
Dude, yeah.
Like, he just fucking, like, the look back, like, oh, and he just crawls out. He was just waiting, like, just come on. And then
Arnold
he's like, wait a minute.
Schwarzenegger took a straight up right hook to the jaw from the Predator. I was like, okay.
That was dope. When he's beating the shit out of Arnold, that scene is dope. He's like spitting up blood. It's like that dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
I think the final battle is amazing though between them two.
The whole thing, dude. Like, I always, when there's one person left against such a superior force like this, I'm always like, well, fuck, everybody's dead now. Like, what's gonna happen with this? The way they play it out and cat and mouse it is dope. And like you call them the suit up scenes where they're fucking like they're both like getting ready. Predators like looking at
guns loaded up and shit.
You see the big hole in the one skull, so you know that's Mac.
Because that's the thing, kind of what you were putting on when there were so many people, they've eliminated everybody. That final one-on-one battle almost is like not believable, but for whatever reason, like I buy it.
Yeah, and it's
Arnold. I think
like
it's the mud that makes you buy it because he can't see with the mud on him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that
it becomes more authentic
Yeah.
or whatever you want to.
And speaking of fucking screams, here's another scream. When Arnold goes to like the top of like not cliff, whatever the fuck it was, and he sparks that fucking light on that after he's ready to go, and basically declares war with that roar that he lets out, and the music's like dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun, like building up, and he's just like,
at that point, fuck it though.
Yeah, and the Predator's just like looking back, like he confused. Looks up. I think he's looking back like, oh, it's like like okay then, like all right, let's do this.
I do love the creative decision of the Predator noticing the trap, and then still being defeated by the trap.
Yeah,
I love the call. It's kind of a callback within like a 5-minute period, but still, it's like, okay, so he saw the trap. Arnold's confused and kind of scared at this point, like, fuck, like all my options are done.
Got him.
And then he gets up top, dude, and he's like, oh shit, drops the rock on him. I'm just like,
the way his eyes light up, he's like, oh.
It's such a good way for him to defeat him, for real, because it does, like you were saying, like the authenticity of it. Like, it brings... Arnold can't beat him one-on-one, like, squaring up. So he uses a fucking, like, 800-pound boulder instead and wins his battle.
And it was iconic, too. Like, the way he's screaming in there, I always think about that scene. The way Predator's, like, looking at the leaves and just, like, you can tell he's, like, being real inquisitive about the situation. And then Arnold's noticing that, and he's just, like, desperate. He's like, come on, kill me. I'm here. Come on. Do it now. Kill me. That whole fucking thing is just epic. And I can only imagine how much he was shitting when his mud came off, dude, when he fucking jumped on that branch and it snapped.
Need more mud.
Immediately.
Brandon, I don't know if you knew this, but Jean-Claude Van Damme was originally cast to play the Predator.
I actually said that in the beginning of this review.
Did you?
Yeah.
Where was I?
We talked about it for like probably 2 minutes.
Did we? He's over zoning.
No,
I don't think we
did something up.
Yeah, I don't even think it was like 2 minutes. I turned to Rodney because like he noticed or something. I was like, yeah. I was like, you know that, and then I kind of like talked about it, but you might not have. It might be one of those things you're like, what are they talking about? Who are they talking about right now? And then it's like, all right, I'll move on to the next thing. But yeah, dude. Yeah, he was. That's what I was talking about when I was saying he was a relentless complainer. That's what Schwarzenegger was saying about Van Damme. Because it was on fire. That's when we were looking up the jungle thing, because that's why he was a relentless complainer. He's in that suit, and he was burning alive. And for some reason, he thought when he was going to this movie that he was going to be, like, doing spin kicks and fighting Arnold and shit. And they're like, get in this fucking suit, bro, and burn alive. So glad he got switched out of the movie.
So you were talking about Kevin Peter Hall being nimble or whatever?
Yeah.
So the Predator costume actually weighed over 200 pounds.
Oh my god.
So he was hooked up to a bungee rig to be able to move.
Mm-hmm. And
Unbelievable.
most people know this, but Kevin Peter Hall also plays the helicopter pilot at the end of the movie. He's the black guy
Oh,
there.
really?
7'2".
Yeah, that must be
Jesus.
crowded in a helicopter.
Yeah, it's like on We Were Soldiers, Shorty, or what
Mm-hmm.
do they call him? I forgot what it was.
Are we saving our scores for the end of the whole thing, or go one by one?
I said
Movie?
we can do it one by one. What do you want to do?
No matter to me. Let's just save them for the end and let's rank
Rank
them and
All
then
right.
do the scores there. That'd probably be
Move on to
better.
Predator 2.
I really don't even
Ready?
know if it's better. I just didn't want us to sit there for 2 hours like, I don't know, you know. Somebody makes the Juno joke and fucking, I don't know, Juno, and Rodney just starts crying, laughing for 2 minutes.
Predator 2. Where do we start with this one? Jesus.
Well, the opening.
A lot of
I mean,
people hate this movie. Let's
this-
say that.
I say the opening of this movie had so much potential until it got.
I was about to say, I was like,
goofy
that's
as
all you
fuck.
watched. Like the opening of this movie made it look like it had so much potential. I thought that's what you were
Yeah.
saying. I'm like, you didn't watch anything
Well,
else.
no, I watched like the first whatever minutes of it, but the
How long has it been since you've seen this movie?
years.
Okay, well, you're
Literally
fucking up.
years.
You need to go home and watch it.
But no, I'm probably gonna watch it tomorrow while Jamie's at work. I'll
Yeah.
probably watch. No kids, no nothing.
No.
But it was so good up until like shit started getting so wacky, like Michael Bay but cartoony. You know what I'm saying? People shooting guns like this and shit at each other, and then what is it, the P90s?
Yeah.
Like them having P90s like that, and then being the most inaccurate they could possibly be with it. It just like
I
they're
love
shooting like this and shit. It took me out.
It's very
bro.
90s. But the thing is, I love about it, it's like fucking adrenaline induced, just fueled.
Oh, yeah, the first, like,
and
15.
like they're fucking slapping cocaine and shit in their face. Like all
Oh,
that.
I forgot about that.
All
guy.
that action amongst that, like it helps with the freneticness for me, I guess you'd say. I love the opening to this movie. I think it's great, and a lot of people miss because it's like the first shot. It like passes over like this supposed jungle and all that shit. And they're like, "How do you even get to New York?" It's like whether you think it's plausible or whatever you want to say about it, like it does show you the fucking jungle, and then boom, New York, Predator 2. So that would be how he got there, and it's really cool to see Kevin Peter Hall reprise his role. He died, I believe, like very shortly after this, or maybe even before it came out.
Let's see.
I don't know. Morgan Freeman.
Morgan
did
Freeman.
A hell of a job
Who?
as Danny's partner in this.
What? Eddie's character?
Who?
Eddie is the fucking. Not. I almost said Morgan Freeman's partner. You fucker. Danny Glover. Yeah, Danny Glover. It sucked not having Arnold back because he was tied up into other things. Like I thought.
What was he doing at this time?
Think he was doing. He might have been doing T2.
What says he
So-
didn't
man.
reprise it because he wanted too much money.
Yeah, I always
To come
heard he.
back.
I heard he had like another movie though too. Maybe.
T2 was a good pick.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was T2, but like that's the one. It's kind of around that time.
What
I
year?
think.
Because T2 came out.
This came out
90.
in 90.
Oh, T2 came out.
Yeah,
in
like
90.
90. Did it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because the first one, T1, came out in 87.
I was thinking T2 was like 92 or something. But yeah, either way,
It might have been.
he didn't fucking do it. It sucks, but you know, it's one of those things like if that is what it is, you're like, well, we did get that and we wouldn't have T2 anymore. But me, being a bigger Predator fan, the Terminator fan, I would have fucking much rather done this. But Danny Glover is a great replacement. And I got to tell you, like, it is wild. It does kind of almost have Lethal Weapon vibes, dude. With everything, and then you got Gary Busey back, who's the villain from the fuck. Like he's fucking great. You're like, get out of here, Kerrigan! Like he's
Cracks
just
me up. I can't take him seriously.
Gary
at
Busey
all.
is something else. But he's had some really good roles. Like if we ever do Surviving the Game, he has one of like the most chilling stories ever about like how his dad made him go out to the woods and fight this dog. But that's a story for another time. And then he was great in Lethal Weapon, and he was great in Silver Bullet. That's a very underrated performance from him. But I think he's great here. Like he fits the mold of what he's supposed to do. I believe him. Like it's over the top, but when you know that's just how Gary Busey is, even in real life, like this is how his character would just be. And I love like the little rivalry they kind of got going on, and how that kind of finally comes to a final confrontation where I was saying that, get out of here, Kerrigan, like all that. And Kerrigan's just like, Danny Glover's character's just like, you fucked up. Because he's too worried. He was always too worried about fucking Danny Glover. And he was always too worried about the prize of like, what can I do with this? And that's what got him killed, which is a very fitting death for him.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about you love Danny Glover replacing Arnold. I just didn't like it.
You like
I love Danny Glover, and I like him in like lethal weapon type role, but for some reason, I didn't buy into it as much as like an Arnold character. And I don't know if it was like missing the muscles or what, but
nobody can replace Arnold.
Yeah.
But like when you go in and you know it's like a different character, and you're like, fuck yeah, dude, Danny fucking Glover, like let's go. Still great. How'd you feel about his partner Eddie? Like, were you expecting him to get off that quickly?
Not that quickly. I figured he was going to die at some point, but I figured it was going to be towards the end of the movie.
That felt like it wasn't even like the middle yet. It's like the last part of like the
beginning.
Beginning is what it feels like.
I like the way they killed him, though.
Oh, it was great. He fell back and grabbed his arm. There's nothing there. So he's like, I can only imagine doing that. Like, you just reach for something and you never catch it because there's nothing there. Then you have the surprise, like, oh, God, I'm not falling. I'm like, but wait a minute, what
am I
is on my hand?
to?
Yeah, dude. And I love all the things that the Predator copies in this movie, dude. Very good. Like, I love the, like, Danny boy. All that shit. The kid, when he was at the cemetery and that kid was there. And he was like, want some candy? And later in the movie, when he's, like, creepily walking up to Bill Paxton's character, he's like, want some candy? Like, that was fucking great.
And the kid like ran back to his mom saying like, I saw the ghost.
Yeah,
because you knew he just saw like the outline.
Yeah, that's exactly what you would say. Even as an adult, you'd be like, I think I just saw a fucking ghost.
Especially in a cemetery, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then he didn't do this in the movie, but like if that was you, he'd turn off the camouflage. You're like, somehow worse than a ghost. It's not a ghost, you were right, but it's way worse. We gotta get the fuck out of here. What about like the Jamaicans and shit? I don't know why I have a soft spot for like this type of shit. I think because Marked for Death was one of my favorite movies growing up, and that featured like a bunch of Jamaican bad guys. So seeing all these Jamaicans in here, that was just like par for the course for me. So sometimes I'm like, I don't even know if they were good. It's just that's what I was into because like my favorite movies at the time when I was a young kid, when I first started watching violent movies, featured Jamaicans for some reason. So it doesn't fucking like throw me off. Yeah, I thought all that was kind of cool. The one meeting he had with what's his name, I know at any other time.
In like the alley?
Yeah, I got the screw face popped in my head. That's the guy from Marked for Death. But yeah, that whole scene I thought was pretty good. Not as effective as the first one, but it kind of sells you on what the Predator can be capable of.
I like the scene where they were doing that like ritual to the guy who was like tied upside down or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And the
Predator busts in, and that scene's crucial. Because that's like the first time we see this, like, oh shit, like his weaponry is up the notch. Because this is where you get the fucking, I love that one thing he has. It's like a big ass, like staff with huge blades on the end. He just puts it out and it goes, comes out. He can fucking swing it, stab. He stabs that one dude, he like falls down. And then you see his like net that he has. He shoots that, he takes that out and shoots the net, fucking sticks him to the wall. And then the other weapon I love is actually what he killed, Gary Busey's character with. When he fucking threw that fucking thing, it was like almost
frisbee.
And yeah, it's like the sharpest frisbee ever. And it's cut like as it's going, the effect to have those huge hunks of just like meat that's like frozen solid. It is just fucking cutting each one in half and skipping across them until you just see the insane amount of blood pour out of Gary Busey and his body falls down into.
That was a cool death.
Yeah, and Danny Glover's like, "Arr!" And he's just like knocking through the shit. And I love that whole scene when Predator gets back up.
Was that where Danny Glover picked up the weapon? Because he had.
Yeah.
Was that
at
the weapon?
End, yeah, I think so. At the end, he had that one. I think he like took it from the Predator. Yeah. So did you like the train scene then?
Yes, that was one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
It's actually a little too like all over the place, but I love like it's matched with the feel of the scene, the way you see him on the fucking roof and he just falls in, and the shit with Bill Paxton like we talked about. And I like that scene, dude, when fucking Danny Glover comes out and he sees him like around the corner and he just takes off and there's that like loud scream and then he chases him to the roof. I love that scene too, where they fall over and he's about to blow up and Glover's just like reaching and that's where he gets the blade and he cuts. Yeah. And the scene that follows that shit, I think he might even say like I'm getting too old for this shit, which is a nice play on Lethal Weapon when he's going down the pole. But I always thought that scene was funny as fuck when the Predator's like in the bathroom and he's like breaking out the glass.
And the old lady.
Yeah, he's letting the scream out and the girl's like, "What the fuck?"
There's no way I'm going close to that door.
Yeah,
if I hear that
he just
scream.
bursts through and like runs right past her. Like, and then like Danny Glover's like, "Oh, hey," and that's funny too. And then she's just fucking just like, he's like, "Where's he at?" or something. He's like, I'm gonna kill him. Whatever he says, he's just like, she's just like, I don't think he gives a shit. That shit is fucking dope, dude.
0% chance I'm falling back asleep after that.
Yeah, she thought it was like her. I know she didn't think it was her husband. She's like, "Hey,
someone's in the bathroom."
yeah,
just
someone's
thinking it's
in the
like
bathroom."
a homeless person or something.
Yeah, and then you get close and you hear whoa, whatever that scream was. I'd be like, "We got to get out of here right now." Yeah, but overall, I kind of like the characters. They're not as good as the first by any means, but they're still like, I think it's a solid cast. You know, I like the actors a lot, so it's always fun seeing them on camera too. And, you know, the violence and brutality was definitely there in this one, I think. And that's why it's a cult classic. It was hated on, but it does have its diehard fans.
I'll say this is my least favorite cast of the 4 movies.
Okay, all right. I think you were saying least favorite movie. I was like, spoiler alert.
Least favorite cast. I like all 3 others more.
And then the final showdown, guys. I mean, what'd you think about that? And then where he goes through the elevator, he's just got to drop, which fuck.
Oh, yeah. And then the elevator starts.
Yeah, like that would suck so bad because you're just like, I'm going to get crushed, so I just have to take a leap of faith. I have no clue how this
You
darkness.
just have to drop. Like,
and there's no choice.
That's your only chance.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, you're fine, but now you got to go into a spaceship with predators. And, you know, it's a short-lived fight with the predator. It's effective. But when they all come out, dude, I'll never forget being a kid, and it would be ridiculous to watch now because how could he take on all them? But I was like, oh, my God, there's more here. Like, I got so excited. But it's cool seeing all the predators. Good designs and shit. And if you catch it, too, because they collect trophies, there's a alien's head.
I did see that.
And what's so cool about that is, like, that seems normal now because we've had, like, Freddy vs. Jason. Even Jason Goes to Hell, our good friend Adam Marcus, at the end, they tease Freddy vs. Jason. But at this time, when they did this, that was, like, unheard of. So, like, when you saw, like, holy shit, Alien and Predator in the same fucking universe, like, that was mind-blowing at the time when this shit came out. And I love how they respected him as a warrior, and they fucking, and maybe, I don't know if y'all think they should have let him go, but a lot of it is respect with the Predators, and they gave him that gun from like the
70s.
Yeah, I think it was like the 1800s or some shit.
I think it was like 1871 or something.
Yeah, so it's just like, wow, like these motherfuckers
Wild,
have
Wild
been,
West.
yeah, these motherfuckers have been duking it out with people for how long
Shit,
now?
you got Prey coming
Yeah, and then
out.
Prey.
That's even older now.
Which is like the main driving force for us doing this, other than us wanting to do it. But yeah.
Huge problem I have with this movie.
Okay.
The biggest problem is I do not like the city setting.
Really?
I want it back in the jungle. Like, literally, if they just change that, put this back in the jungle, it goes up like a point or 2 for me. I just don't like the city vibe for some reason.
I like it, but I definitely prefer the jungle. But why it works for me is like it's that little shift to like change things up a little bit amongst the other movies. And at the time when there was just 2 of them for the longest time, because Predators didn't come out to like 2010 or something, like it was kind of like I get this and I get that. It's like the best of both worlds. That's how I looked at it. But I could see how it would throw some people off. But I just always had a different like mindset when I watched it, even though I do prefer the jungle. But if they would have tried to do the jungle again without Arnold, I think it would have hurt me more because I'm like, they have to do something different.
What do you think, Rodney? Do you like the city vibe, or?
I don't mind the city vibe.
I don't even know how much you can talk about this movie.
I can talk about the landscape of it because I do remember
Because I've seen the cover.
I almost didn't want to watch this movie when I did watch it because I was like in the city, but it works for me. And it's definitely scary. Even thinking if a predator were to come to a city, like, dude, fuck that.
Nothing's off limits.
Yeah, fuck that.
Fuck yeah.
All right, you ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Any more?
Predator 6.
Predators.
Predators, the
2010.
third one. The movie that like I have so many highs for, but so many like random lows. I don't even know if I remember them on the
I
spot.
am 100% with you on that. Actually, like I love this movie so much, but there's so many things about this movie that are off.
Even though it's not really the beginning, but we are just kind of jumping around, I can tell you my biggest low of the movie.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne is the worst part of this movie to me. By
100%.
It was so quick.
It
too.
made-
It wasn't
felt
even. It was his
forced.
acting in it was terrible.
his
too.
acting is god awful, and it feels like why are we bringing the movie to a halt just for this?
They did.
The
It was a
movie-
complete story change right there.
And it didn't like if you got something special there, which I'm assuming they thought they did, but like it's the worst part of the movie for me. The acting isn't good with him, and it's just like I get if you want to have somebody that wants to fuck him over, but even then I don't like that. I just like fuck bringing in other people, like just Predator and these guys. And for him, they thought they were doing something cool with it. It just he acting like you said terrible and bringing the story to a halt, and then it's over, and you're like, "What? You could have just cut that whole thing out of the movie, and it'd probably be better." Even, yeah, no way, dude.
It's okay though because they redeemed
many
themselves
years?
by hiring Walton Goggins to be in this movie.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah, like the cast just in
It's
general.
insane.
And it's
is
the best
loaded.
cast out of all four movies.
it's gotten even better. Like over the years, the more I've got, like I didn't really know shit about what's his name, the guy that's playing Blade.
Mahershala
Man,
Ali.
Hershey, I never. I
Hey,
always say
he
his
kills
name.
it.
He
kills
does. But when I first saw him at that time, I was like, I don't really know this guy. I think I've seen him in a few things. Now it's like, oh shit. When I go back and watch it, I'm like, this is dope. He's in there.
But just starting off with the intro of this movie.
I love it.
This is
Just
the
them-
best intro out of all
Just
the
them
movies.
falling.
Yes, dude. And you're just like, oh shit, already holding onto your seat. Like, what the fuck is happening? And
I was in the fucking theater. I was waiting for it to kick in. Like, let's see how that. Whoa, okay, we're falling. That was
Yeah.
my exact reaction. I was like, Jesus.
yeah, it's and then Adrian Brody is such a weird choice for this role. The lead is a very weird choice, but to me, he somehow pulls it off, bro. I like
it.
his badassness that he
tapped on
was
the
trying
muscle.
to get worked for me. You know, I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I can see him being a heartless mercenary. I can see that.
He does have a bit of like the most like generic like tough guy.
That's what I'm
voice,
saying.
Though.
That's
Like,
why I
he's
didn't think it would work.
yeah, I mean we could do that. Like I feel like he's really forcing that on.
Oh yeah.
But the more I've watched the movie, I've grown to like it. And whereas like in the past, maybe I got a little more okay, that sounded gay as shit. Maybe I got a little more Rodney in me. But
Just a few more inches.
yeah. The few more inches went in, and then I figured it out, dude. Like, no, but like how he always talks about like decisions and shit. Like, what Brody does in this movie,
You talking about creatively?
yeah, is like, it's like brilliant in terms of like that character. Like, it's like a constant like fucking people over left and right, but doing it like he's like, you're not gonna come, okay, then I'm fucking leaving.
That's why I love his character
Yeah.
because he can make those executive decisions
and he
without
set him
flinching.
up, and he set him up when he's like, well, now we know what we're up against.
But
Yeah.
for good reason. Like,
Exactly.
dude, everything he did was never wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it
Like,
was
he was very
morally,
smart.
it was
Yeah.
morally wrong. But like
Well,
his
fuck that.
smarts,
You gotta
but-
survive. That-
yeah, I know. But I know, but like a lot of times you're like, damn, that motherfucker fucked them over. But like it was cool because they're like you're just like, damn, but the motherfucker does have a point though. It's like what makes like the best villains, like Thanos and shit. Like you're like, but I see his point.
Thanos was right.
And then there's I knew you'd think that, but maybe he was. But somehow with all that though, there is an element of just like I feel like this guy does care though. Like that's what made it brilliant to me because it felt like he didn't give a shit at all. But there's a part of you that was just like he's ready to do something heroic too. So it was
To
like
an extent, he is.
yeah. But like it's not completely like void of everybody. Like he's calculated that way, but there's that little glimmer of light to where like you're not completely like fuck, I can't trust this guy at all. And the balance of that within his performance, very good.
It was really good in that aspect of it.
Yeah, and how he came back at the end. Something told me like you could be like, well, that's not as Like that's
I
not even
knew
his
he
character.
would, though.
Very predictable,
yeah.
But to me, for some
But it
reason,
works for it.
I don't know what it is. Usually I do that. I'm like, that's not his character. But for some reason, I always saw that glimmer, even with all those things. Like I was like, yeah, he would fucking maybe do that.
Well, he also had the angel on his shoulder, which would be what was her name?
Isabel.
Isabel. Isabel was like his little angel on his shoulder. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like she was the one that would like knock that moral common sense into his head. Like, look, they need a break. Like we need to rest. You know, shit like that. And then the cliche, him calling out what everybody is and who they are. I fucking love that. When he's telling her like, well, this person is this and that and that. And I love that shit.
Yeah, but Brody is went from somebody I'm just like, he's trying too hard to be a tough guy.
If y'all
to, like,
haven't seen
I've
it,
grown to like kind of love this character.
watch The Red Violin.
What'd y'all think of Topher Grace's character?
Dude, I hate him.
And like
I like his character till the end.
You don't like the twist?
don't like the
That
twist.
is my biggest thing.
Because
I
the
can't
problem with
stand
that,
the twist.
and I'm curious as if you'll agree with me on this, but the problem with that twist is A, it's a Predator movie. There shouldn't be a twist. And B, which kind of coincides with that, is Topher Grace, they added a whole nother level to his character. Now, if you watch the movie multiple times and you know, you catch on as you watch, like, oh, this makes sense now.
Yeah.
This look that he gave this person,
And he's got to be
all
bad
that.
in some way. Why is
Right.
everybody else bad? And you're like, that makes perfect sense. He's a serial killer. And it does make sense.
it does, but it
But
takes away from the villain
It's
aspect
losing.
of Predator. It takes away from the Predator, as in, oh, so this whole time they're running from the Predator, but now we've got this villain to worry about, and it's already so late into the movie, and it's like, I don't.
It just, again, like what you said, I don't think it works well in a Predator movie. And like I said earlier, like when you add in other people like Lawrence Fishburne and that, like I'm just trying to focus on the Predator. It oddly just does not work for me. Like when you were watching like a zombie movie or something, you add in bad guys too. It's like, yeah, spice it up. But something about Predator movies, just let me focus on the Predator.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But my biggest thing is like I remember seeing the trailer and there's the scene where, you know, I love what Brody does to him. And he fucking fucks him up and he's like, oh, and he like pulls him.
Yeah.
It's dope. But in the trailer, all you saw, it was zoomed in on him getting pulled away. And I was like, oh my God, because like I have such a soft spot for Topher Grace.
Yeah.
So I was just, you know, because of that 70s
Yeah.
show, obviously. And I was like, oh my God, is Topher Grace going to die? Like, I'm already sad right now. Like, I don't want to see this. And then when it kicked off and he was just like this lovable loser, I was like, dude, Topher's got to fucking make it, dude. And I was rooting for that the whole movie. And all I could think about, I was like, his character, though, is what it's looking like, is going to be that one, like, there's always that character in the movie where, like, usually at least, where the sympathetic one, where, like, you feel bad for him, but it's powerful because of how bad you feel for him. So I was ready for that scene, had the Predator dragging him away, and I was just going to have my heart ripped out. And I think if they would have stuck with that and nailed that down, it would
Instead of making him the.
yeah, like imagine him getting
Yeah.
drug away, and then Brody's like, we can't do anything for
Yeah.
him, and like she's like reaching for him
Like
maybe
when
or
they
something.
sent him out as the decoy.
Yeah, like when he's fucking.
was cool.
We've seen him do some stupid shit, like what he did to the one guy, for Russian guy, whatever he was, when he fucked him over because he came back to help him, and then Topher Grace fucked him over, and he's like come back, and then he gets fucked up and he blows up the Predator. That dude, that scene. So we'd see him do some fucked up shit, but just overall the emotion, even of the scene, like if we didn't know that because it wasn't in the movie, like right before he's like you don't have to do this, you don't have to help me, like imagining like you're at that point in the movie and you're like, God, dude, he's fucking helpless. I feel so bad for him, and like what can we do? And then him just getting dragged away. And then the Predator just fucking like guts him or something. You would have this lasting impact in the movie. Just like, dude, Topher Grace scene. And like, I hated it for him, but I was like, that scene was fucking powerful. And that's what I wanted in the movie. And you do this twist, and I didn't get that. Fucks it up for me. What about other characters?
Another scene that kind of stood out to me or that I liked was Danny Trejo's death scene.
I love.
He's sitting there screaming, and like Adrian Brody's a step ahead of the Predators. He's
Dude.
like, "It's a fucking trap."
Yeah, he's like, I
don't walk up there."
Yeah, in the touch to have her just like, well, I'm at least gonna put him out of his misery, and then it keeps playing after he's shot and
Yes.
killed. That is such a good touch to do that. I was so into this movie at that point. But what about we got Topher Grace? What, dude? I
Favorite
love
character for
is
me
the
is Yakuza.
samurai. Yeah,
Yakuza character, and the
is
reason
awesome.
when I fell in love with this character the first time was when he took his shoes off. He took his shoes off and went barefoot, and I was like, oh, so he's like a bad motherfucker.
In
dude.
his final fight scene or
Hey,
whatever.
let me tell you,
he's-
that's
Yeah.
what I was going to talk about with Brandon is we get that redemption arc for Billy in this movie.
Yeah,
Because with Billy, we didn't get to see his
they're
death.
definitely channeling
but
that.
this
there.
one,
it was
oh
the
my-
same thing. They're playing the same music
Yeah,
too.
and the
That
one-on-one,
dun, dun, yeah.
Dude, it was so respectful too. Like the Predator was
toe
like, the
to toe.
respect level. Oh my god,
Yes.
I loved it. And he stood his own. The Yakuza guy stood he stood his own.
I think last time I watched it, this has been a problem, but I can't remember exactly what I don't like about it. But like, I love the fight, but I didn't want him to die right there.
No,
for some
no,
reason.
we didn't, but he had to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like for the
I feel like he had
story
to.
wise, he had to. But yeah, it killed me seeing it. I wanted him to be like one of the final.
I'm not a big fan of that death. Like it makes sense because he's like got the sword, Yakuza, whatever's going on. But like in a Predator movie, I don't know. I just don't like seeing like just like like that like it's been done a million times. Like, oh, they both fell and died. Again, there's something about Predator movies I'm really particular about.
Yeah, but you
know
knew
it.
he was hurt when he got him though.
Oh yeah.
I love the pull away shot they do where they're laying in the grass and the grass is like blowing
Yes.
in the wind.
Yeah.
Something about the tall grass or whatever.
There's
Dude,
added some,
it was
like,
beautiful.
impact
This
for
movie
me.
had
beautiful
some beautiful
shots.
cinematography in it. Yeah.
Yeah, they realize where they were and they look up. It's like, oh shit.
Dude,
when they
that
see
scene was
all
awesome.
the planets. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
that was
Yeah,
awesome.
that when they've realized they were on an alien planet, I
That
was
was
like,
sick.
oh, now that's a good twist, and they
Mhm.
should have left it with just that twist. You know, like that would have been great, dude.
a quick glance and it's back to the movie. What about Walton Goggins' character? though?
Okay,
Get it, Rodney.
dude, I fucking love Walton Goggins, and I love every character he plays. And this one, dude, he took it to like the extreme. Like this is the character that is perfect for Walton Goggins to play. And I think he absolutely murders it. I mean, the whole time I'm like, dude, you are a creepy piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I
It's
love that because that's
believable.
exactly what he needs to be, you know. And he played it to perfection. Even the simple shots, like when the camera's like panned on Isabel's ass, and then it scrolls up, and he's just sitting there, like drooling over, and she turns around, and he's just like, you know, like.
What does he say? I'm gonna rape so many
Yeah,
bitches.
Dude, yeah.
He's talking to Topher Grace.
Yes.
He's like, I do
No
so
remorse.
much cocaine when I get back. But he's like totally like
So
you can
much
tell he's
raping.
normal. And then Topher Grace, he's like, you know what I mean? And Topher Grace is like, yeah, raping,
totally.
raping, doing like raping bitches or killing bitches, whatever he
I
said.
love the scene where I think they're all like defensive and pull out their guns, and he just has a knife, and he's
Yes.
like,
And he's like,
"Someone
"This
give
is
me a
Yeah,
fucking gun!"
he's
now."
just like, dude, why does he get a fucking gun? He's just
He's like, you don't need that gun, man. Give me a gun.
yeah, him and fucking Ali were just at each other's throats for the longest time. And then Ali, it was kind of cool. The
Which
respect,
one's
though.
Ali? Oh, Mahershala.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mahershala Ali. When he fucking goes over and like he actually saves Walton Goggins, but he does it in a way that's like, I got you, but also fuck you.
Yeah.
What he says, I can't remember
But
exactly what he said.
Mahershala Ali's character is also kind of a callback in respect to Billy, because he was also the first one to kind of see the predator. You know what I'm saying? Like he had that, like he was
had
making
a sense.
contact, but didn't know what he was looking at.
Now,
you
you
know?
could argue that for the Yakuza too, how quiet
Yeah,
he was.
yeah.
Like he felt like he was disengaged because he was more focused on what was happening, and Brody was too, but he had to talk since he's the
Yeah,
leader.
Brody was more about mission wise, like plan.
Yeah.
Whereas like Mahershala Ali's character was always toward the back anyway.
Yeah, he's like, I don't have to be the fucking leader. That's just more
Right.
that like him and the accuser, like they could easily be the leader. They're both like badasses, but they're more on the wavelength of like, I don't know where I'm fucking going anyways, just like he probably don't, but that's only more responsibility if I gotta be the leader. Like, where are you going? What are you doing? Even though Brody isn't like that. Brody's literally like, follow me, but they gotta have those moments where he's talking to him like, this is why we need to do this. When you remove yourself of that, that's less baggage. So I think in their mind, they're just like, I'm just gonna fucking go with it, and if anybody fucks with me, they're dead. And I'm really gonna hone in on my surroundings because that's about the only way I can get out of this the best way I can. It's crazy.
Anything else? We ready to move
This
on?
is the first movie with the dogs, right?
Yeah,
So this is where they introduced like the predator dogs, which
The
were
other
fucking
animals,
awesome,
yeah.
dude.
I don't like them.
You don't like them?
No,
Why?
it's goofy to me. I just like for me, this is what hurts this movie too. I don't like multiple predators. I like one predator.
Oh, dude, the Predator versus Predator at the end was amazing.
It was cool, and then you change up the look. I'm such like a predator purist though. Like it's fine, but like when you add in like a bunch of dogs too, they have dogs now, and then they got the fucking. There's like you don't know how many predators there are.
They have to. They can't just keep it with one predator with Jason Voorhees.
I get it, but just preference wise, I like it makes them seem stronger too. Like when it's just one that you can't fuck with, when you got a bunch of them. Like if you did that in the first movie, like how like it shows you. It makes it scarier to me where you're like, this one motherfucker is fucking them all up. Like that. Imagine a bunch of them together. There'd be no hope. And then you get a bunch of them together and like they're surviving. Yeah, they're surviving the same way. Like it's the first one. I don't know. It doesn't work as well for me in multiple ones.
You know, Brody tricks the Predator, and then the Predator kind of thinks he's tricking or killing Brody. And you know,
I didn't like that though.
So on and so forth.
I didn't like the ending with Brody fucking up the Predator. It was cool, but it was like that callback. I don't like it when you're like, it's such like a constant like, oh, check this out. Remember this from the first one? Like I would have rather them done something a little more original. Like he's just like, oh, the mud, and then it's like, there's a lot of this movie where they'll play like the same music tone for who they're trying to like replicate too. It felt like too on the nose for me. I just didn't like it. It's like you're gonna try to replicate this, but Brody in no shape or form could ever do what Schwarzenegger did. So you might as well do something new and unique. That's why it doesn't work for me. A lot of nitpicks. Yeah.
To the Predator.
The Predator.
Shane Black. What? 2013.
2018.
Yeah, it was way
Was it
sooner than that. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Saw this in theaters too.
Yeah, I saw this.
2018. My first watch was today.
Nice. Oh, today. Oh,
Yeah,
so
this is a weird
I've already
one.
forgot most of it.
Yeah.
Again, I like this cast.
The cast is good. The cast, because it's not Charlie Hunnam, but what's the other guy?
Guy from The Cursed.
From what?
Boyd Holbrook.
Yeah, Boyd Holbrook. Yeah, from Logan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like him.
And they got the girl from Dexter.
Oh yes.
Vaughn, whatever, and they got Keegan-Michael Key.
Yes.
And they got Alfie Allen, Theon.
Olivia Munn.
And Sterling C.K. Brown. Or
Thomas
Sterling
Jane.
K. Brown.
Thomas Jane.
Fuck! I forgot about Thomas Jane.
He was fucking great.
And then the Nebraska dude. He might have been my favorite character in this.
Oh,
movie.
Nebraska. The cowboy hat.
You talked about Game of Thrones, right?
Yes.
I almost
Alfie-
missed that. And I
Alfie
was like, I
Allen.
think you
Game
just
of
said
Thrones
that.
was he?
That's Theo.
Theon.
I don't know why I said
shit.
Theo.
Did you not realize?
No.
He gets his like arm cut off at the end or whatever.
I just had Theo Vaughn and Theon put together, and it made me say
Theo Vaughn. I swear to God, he's the worst.
Yeah, sure.
But I love Keegan-Michael Key's character.
Dude, I
and
love
his
it.
comedic.
Yeah, was that Hey Bosley or what's his name?
When he said
E for everyone, like your pussy's ready or whatever. Dude, he hit so many.
what's the
good
difference between 5 black dudes and a joke? Your mom can't take a joke.
jokes. Yeah, that shit's great. No, but this is the biggest thing that crushes this movie for me. Everybody that saw this movie damn near hated it. And they say it tried to be too goofy. It tried to be too funny. That is fucking incorrect. That is incorrect. It should do that because I think that goofiness and the joking only brought us deeper into the characters' relationships, and it was fun. The problem with this movie with the goofy and funny, though, this is where they fuck up wholeheartedly for me. They don't know when to cut it off. Yeah. Once it got serious, they should have got serious too. It's almost like they don't understand the imminent danger and the gravity of it. Like, it's fine, like, hey, Bosley, like cracking up, but then it's like maybe they joke, and then they're just like, it goes back to kind of like the original. It's just like, what are we fucking in for? Like, you know, they kind of, you know, they act like they're in a fucking terrible, scary situation. The tone was fine in the beginning to pull us together, but you got to cut that when it gets more serious. When it's just playful, jokey the whole time, it doesn't feel right amongst a Predator movie to me.
It's Sterling Brown for me that really like is terrible.
You didn't like him?
No,
I
really?
hated
he
his
was
character.
so cliche.
Who's Sterling Brown?
William Traeger, the other.
The main
The bad
antagonist.
Oh, yeah. I was making
He,
sure. When
dude,
yeah.
everything that came out of his mouth in this movie, I'm just
Yeah, I
like,
did not
just
like him.
stop.
Yeah, he
Somebody
was pretty
kill
bad.
him.
He was popping the like Mentos gum or whatever.
Nonstop.
His like first scene.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm on board with the first half of this movie. I really am. I have one other big problem, but it comes at the end. It's the other thing is not only, which is cool. They got Jake Busey.
Gary Busey's
Yeah,
son.
it, like
That's
it
what I was
doesn't
just
say it
reading.
in the movie, but it is his son. I think like a line got cut out or something, and you can kind of put two and two together, so it's fine. But the other thing that kills this is not only the fucking changing, like not changing the guard of what they were doing once it got more serious. How they paced the kills was absolutely terrible. It legit, like they waited till the very end, and people started dying so quickly. It was almost like who just died there? What? Like I didn't even have a time to like, oh my god, they killed him. Like there was scenes so quick. You're like, did that guy just die? Did they just kill him? And they're like, oh, did they just kill fucking this guy's character? Is he dead now? It's so quick and sporadic. It's horribly done. And then there's also the fact that you're just like, why wait until the end and everybody's just boom, 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 dead? If you'd have paced it out. Where this movie loses me, actually, is where, what's his name? God dang it, the guy with the dark, long hair.
Dark long hair.
Yeah, he's got the mustache. He might be like my favorite.
Nettles?
I thought Nettles was
Where
funny
they
as
cut his
shit.
legs off.
Yeah, that dude. But like when that predator picked him up and lifted him up on the roof, if they would have fucking offed him right there, and this is the turning point for me, if they would have offed him right there and the tone would have changed, like we're in some fucking shit now, and they wouldn't have joked around anymore, and then people just kind of died periodically the rest of the way, this would have been solid. But the fact that like they didn't kill him there, they missed a million opportunities too, they're still jokey the whole time, and then people die, like if you blink you miss who even died. It was just terribly executed for me in that regard.
I did like.
Fuck me in the face with an aardvark.
I did like Keegan-Michael Key's death with the other dude, and how they like shot each other.
See, I
yeah.
hate
Friends.
that.
I like that.
It's so like cheesy and timing it up. I fucking couldn't stand that shit. And
Thomas
also,
Jane's crazy
I
ass.
almost got like a hint of like, are they fuck like? And somebody else said this too, so I'm not alone in this.
Gay.
Like, are they gay?
Yeah, I think they are.
But that
Doesn't
feels.
change anything for me.
I don't like gay people, Josh. No, I'm just playing. No, not at all. But it kind of felt like out of left field. Like,
Oh, the interracial couple part.
yeah, that's the part that bothers me. No. I'm literally in an interracial relationship. But no, like it just like it felt like forced at the end almost. Like, are they gay now? Did I just get a gay vibe? Like, what was that and where did it come from? It just didn't feel authentic
I
to
got
me.
zero gay vibes.
Well,
Just for the record.
Well, it's there though because like I said, other people have him before it even came out of my mouth. He's like, "Are they gay?" So yeah, there's definitely something there. It felt like almost like it was two different scripts. Like they were just buddies that cracked jokes, and at the end it was like, "Are they gay? What is going on right now?" And I think that's the big part of this movie is, I think Shane Black, and I think I even heard that like he didn't get the creative control, or a lot of people speculate because there's no way he would have done what he did in this movie. And a lot of people think Hollywood diced up the script and made him do this and made him do that and didn't let him make the movie that we all wanted because sometimes they interfere.
Look at Nice Guys.
Yeah.
That movie's damn near a masterpiece.
Dude, Shane Black wrote the Lethal Weapon movie.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like he and I guarantee you,
And there
studio
was great
interference
lines.
was.
There's great lines. There's good writing in here, like how they're cracking on each other and shit. But it feels like uneven, and I don't believe Shane Black would have made this movie this way. And I've heard rumors of that, and I think that's what happened.
I'll say one of my big negativities was the main story arc overall seemed really lazy and cliche with the super genius son who can figure out the
I didn't
predator
care at all.
language.
Spaceship.
Yeah,
just
and I'm
wearing
just
the
like,
mask, walking
no,
around.
dude. Like they're really going this route with it. Like it's because it's such a simple like starter kit to a movie like this. Like, oh, okay, we'll have a kid that's like a super genius, can't get along with anybody else because they said he had something like some kind of mental illness.
Oh, he's fucking autistic.
autistic. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
I almost said artistic.
yeah, well,
Like, yeah, he can paint like a motherfucker. It's an illness. He's so good.
but yeah, dude, I just don't. I thought that was really.
Here we
stupid.
go. We get this for the first time. I don't even know if y'all thought about it, but this is the first time we get CGI predators.
Sure is, ain't it? With the big predator,
Yeah, they CGI
Yeah,
shit
didn't
in this
like him
movie
at all.
sometime.
I was just about to say
the
what y'all think of
Predalien
him.
or Predatalian, whatever
Yeah,
they
It's
call it.
fine, but I don't like the CGI.
I would much prefer
It's just weird, like since we haven't seen that yet.
what's it called? Practical effect.
Yeah, practical effects, dude. It just doesn't work. I mean, Kevin Peter Hall was already that tall. We got that already. We just didn't claim he was that tall. No. Another thing, the very ending, I fucking hated it.
Okay, refresh me on the very ending.
The very ending is where they're like, we've designed something or something, and they're all sitting there, it feels forced on the end.
my
And they
God.
show it, it's like a fucking predator suit that's gonna kill people. Like this, I immediately was just like, and this is where they're going forward. There's gonna
I'm
be people
so glad they did.
There's gonna be people in CGI, like predator, like different costumes to fight the predators. I was not about. I do not want to see these weird, terribly CGI'd, like
Human versus predator
machine
war.
looking things fighting. I don't want anything to do with that. What makes Predator so good is because it's so uneven to me.
That's one reason I'm excited about Prey. Is
Yeah.
because they went
Bare
so
bones.
far back.
Bare
How
on
far
this
back
one.
are they?
The Prey is like
I don't know the exact date.
revolutionary, like
And
1700s. I
When's it
think.
come
Yeah,
out?
it is. In August.
August 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who-
but to
is it coming out to
Hulu.
Hulu?
Yeah,
it
that's-
sucks.
you know, that's-
Disney's-
I know.
it's
That's the
gonna be a
whole
10.
reason. That's the whole reason we did this was because that was about to drop. in
Yeah,
like a
look
month.
up. See if they tell you what year or what.
It looks pretty promising, but I got to tell you something. This movie's trailer, I was fucking hooked. I was like, I cannot fucking wait. It was
You
one.
talking about Prey? Or
Yeah, the
Predator?
Prey looks promising in the trailer.
Right.
But I'm saying I got to tell you what. The Predator.
Dude, yes,
This
the
one, this
trailer-
trailer for this movie, it was one of those just like when I first heard that somebody had seen it because somebody saw it on like a Thursday and I saw like some reviewers I know and a couple that like I don't ever, fuck with, but I just listen to their shit, at least at the time. And they were all just like, it's complete shit. They were all saying it. And it's one of those like, I can't believe it because like it's one of those trailers, it's so good. There's
Yeah.
no way. And then you see it and you're like,
Well, I was
"Way."
like mostly excited because Shane Black was.
Yeah.
directing
And
it,
that was the other thing. You're like,
you know?
and Shane Black
Yeah.
directed? Look at the trailer. And Shane
Yeah.
Black. There's no way.
I just had it.
And then I'm a huge
1719.
Yeah, so 1700s. Yeah, that's yeah.
It's like I
that's
said,
dope.
1700s. You give me a
But Sterling Brown is like, he's I could consider him probably like a top 15 favorite actor of mine, like working today.
Really?
Yeah, he does some very interesting roles.
He's hit or miss.
but
for
you're
me.
very hit or miss. But his hits are like
He's good.
really
Home runs.
fucking.
I remember
yeah.
seeing him in Supernatural. That was the first time I seen him. I was like,
Oh yeah, he was in Supernatural.
So I was just reading this. I found it funny.
What?
Despite being convinced as having an R rating, Davis said that the film could potentially be cut to PG-13 rating. Later in June, it was revealed it'd be rated R. Could you imagine if it was PG-13?
That's what they did with Alien vs Predator,
God.
the first one,
That's better than this.
and everybody
What is
was
it?
so mad.
Oh,
and
I remember.
Then they came out with Requiem.
I still remember where I was at when I saw that. It would show up on the trailer. Would show up on your TV on a commercial or whatever, and it would say like to be determined the rating, not
Yeah.
yet rated, not yet rated. That's what they say. And I remember like being at my buddy Michael's house. I was in middle school. I'm pretty sure, unless we were hanging out, but like that's where I met him. But yeah, it was pretty almost positive it was like 7th grade or something. And I was like, oh shit, Alien vs. Back then you didn't really get on YouTube. I don't even know if YouTube was even relevant at that time. And I was like, it's a fucking Alien vs. Predator trailer. And we're all like, two of the baddest, but they're going to go against each other. And then we're waiting on the end of it. And then I know where it showed the rating for the first time. And I was like, PG-13.
Dude, it's like
What
the
are you
biggest
doing?
mistake in Hollywood history, making an Alien, not just an Alien, but you're also making a Predator movie. You're combining them to a PG-13. Go home. Like, go home. Dude.
Lance
Good for
Henriksen, though.
And then they had which they call it redeeming, which Requiem was. It's better than Alien versus Predator, but
Completely disagree with that. Not even
dude, they
close.
went like balls to the wall with blood and gore in the second one.
Requiem sucks.
I
Alien
prefer it
versus
over the first one.
Alien vs. Predator isn't bad. It's not great. Isn't bad. But if it was fucking, I don't know, R, it could have been great.
They have an unrated cut.
Yeah, and we'll talk about more about
Yeah,
these
let's
on a review. But
Stick to the Predator. Anything else we got on this one?
But
Are we ready
it
for
works
our
as like a
rating?
I'm
quick
just-
touch type of thing, just because some people would want maybe even us to rank those in. So just to do a quick little tidbit,
Oh, I
Ready
mean,
for
I
our
can rank those in
rankings?
with them now.
we won't.
For
We
the
won't
Predators?
because we'll review them.
Who wants to go first? You want me to go first?
Go.
Yeah, because
Hit it.
I haven't ranked them yet in my head. I
I'll
don't-
think about it.
Well, I kind of. I lied. I just know this.
Coming in last
But I haven't
place
gave ratings in my head yet.
with a score of 5.
Nice.
The movie did a lot wrong, but there were some redeeming qualities to it. is Predator 2.
I knew it.
Oh my god!
I threw in the chat to Brandon. This movie's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I was
Didn't like it.
confused.
Was never really drawn to it.
I was
too much.
confused, dude. I was like, oh,
Yeah, that gets a 5.
you suck.
Third place with a 6. Again, a little bit more redeeming qualities in that second one, but like we were just talking about, a lot wrong with it is The Predator,
Holy
2018.
shit. This is like sacrilege right now.
Coming in second place, Predators with a 6.8. I really enjoyed this movie, and if, like you all said, just a few things, I think this rating could have been a lot higher for me.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then obviously coming in first place is Predator with a 9.7.
Huge jump.
Fucking love
Jesus.
Predator.
Yeah.
There's
So my number 4 would be The Predator. When I first saw this movie, I was high on crack. I was like, it's not that bad. And I think maybe I was trying to sell it to myself. I was like, there's no way it's that bad. So I was convinced, and I had to convince myself. The more I've watched this movie, I still like love the first half, but like what they did the second half is so fucking off-putting that where now I've watched it like 4 times, I can't even enjoy the first half. So I'm like, I know what's coming. And damn it, this did not work it well if you were going to take it that route. The Predator gets a 3 out of 10 for me. It's not good at all. Predators would be my third favorite. I want to love this movie. There's so much to love, but there's too many things holding me back because I'm like, God, not my preference. Jesus Christ, what do you, no, why would you, There's too many of those to go with the like, damn, oh, they did that. That's badass. That it makes it an even 5. No, I'm just playing. It goes up from there. But it's not an 8. I want this movie to be an 8 every time I'm watching it at least, and it doesn't get there.
Watch it in a theater setting again.
No, not going to help. Still going to have those problems no matter how
Watch
big
it
the TV
upside
is.
down.
Yeah.
In the Upside Down, Stranger Things review
Ooh.
coming next week, I guess, since we didn't get to watch it before we did
I
this.
know, I'm so upset.
Yeah,
We
but
will get that for y'all.
we
though.
will. But Predators gets a 7.3. I'll give it a
That's a big
7.3.
jump.
Yeah, 7.3 out of 10. And then at number 2 is the OG. No, I'm just playing. Predator 2. But I am one of those people, I'm with the cult on this. There's a huge cult following for this movie. Seems like you either love it or you hate it. I happen to be in the love it side, and this is one of my... There's a time where maybe Predator and Predator 2 were my 2 favorite movies, and I might even like Predator 2 better. I adore both of these movies at the top 2. And Predator 2 is going to get a 9.4 out of 10 to me. I
Man, that's got
absolutely...
a higher score than you for it.
Predator 2?
Predator 2. never mind.
Absolutely great.
A 5.
And then the first one is Predator.
We know.
Predator.
Just
of course
say it.
you know.
Hit
Yeah.
us with it.
It's a 10. It's an 11 out of 10. This is my third favorite movie of all time. In my top 3, anyone could be one, really. That's where it falls. This is fucking amazing. I actually think Predator's underrated. It's like that classic movie, but if you pair it with other classic movies, like if you put on like an Alien list, like Alien, like 8 times out of 10 will finish ahead of it, it seems like. Like Predator is fucking amazing. Maybe like the best action movie of all time. It's up there. So good. And then you add in sci-fi and horror with it. What a mix. Yeah. 10 out of 10.
I'm interested for Rod, and he's now.
All right, Predator 2, I don't remember anything about it, and I only watched the beginning.
No, number 4 definitely goes to The Predator. God, this movie is almost hard to watch. Like, I know, and I've watched it numerous times, kind of like with you with the hopes, like, this time is going to change. This time, I'll get past it, I'll be like, okay, it's goofy, but, you know, no. I'm actually going to...
I did not hate it.
Dude, it's so upsetting.
I didn't either on my first watch.
The movie.
The flaws just grew more and more and more I watched.
Kind of going to be with Brandon on this one and give this like a 3.5. Yeah, I'll give it a 3.5 out of 10. So this is my number 4. Number 3, I'm going to give The Predator 2. Mainly because I do need to rewatch it. And
this isn't, mainly because this isn't accurate. It may be, but
I do know I probably wouldn't like it more than the next 2 on my list. So
this is the movie that made Bill Paxton the only guy that was in a Predator movie, a Terminator movie, and an Alien movie.
oh shit. Dude, that's crazy.
You're hating on this right now.
So Predator
Yeah.
2, from the memory bank of Predator 2, I'll give Predator 2 like a 7.3.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'll give it like a 7.3. But I do need to rewatch. It could change. Number 2.
He's like, what the fuck did I say last week? Let me just come out on our next podcast and say, that movie sucked. That was a 1.
I do remember enjoying the movie. Like, the last time I watched it, I didn't walk away like, God, that was atrocious.
Amazing.
I was so even keel with it.
Yeah, to each their own, I guess, on that, because, I mean, this next one's going to kill Brandon, but my number 2 is Predator, the OG.
Really?
Yeah.
You're joking.
My number 2 is Predator
Rodney?
OG.
You on drugs again?
Just the Gatorade.
What is in the Gatorade?
Dude, I love this movie so
you
much.
serious?
And this movie is so great. Yeah, like OG is number 2 for me. I love this movie a lot. I do.
Wow.
The Schwarzenegger, the Carl Weathers, and then talking about Billy and everything. It's a great creature feature, honestly, and the Predator, the
The better
introduction
one
to the
came
Predator was awesome. But Predator gets an 8.7 for me.
I knew we shouldn't have saved this trash for last.
Dude,
No,
Predators, number 1, dude. Yeah, Predators, dude. There's a
It's your
soft
list,
spot in my
dog.
heart for this.
Really?
It's controversial for me to
hate-
give Predator 2 a 9.4, so there's that.
I hate Lawrence Fishburne in this, and I hate the twist with Topher Grace. But for some reason, dude, I can look right past all that watching this movie. Like between Adrian Brody's character, Isabel's character, Walton Goggins, dude, all the characters, I just loved them all. The samurai fight that you kind of get, ate that shit up. That's like a rewind scene for me.
Yum, 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 yum.
I love the fight between the Predators at the end. I know you don't, but dude, I just
I mean, it's
think
cool.
I think the
I
way
don't
the sound
dislike it.
design was too. So when they hit, you actually feel them hitting.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I just don't like multiple Predators, and that comes.
I
with
can get
that.
where you. Yeah, I can get where you don't like that. I fucking love Predators a lot. Predators is like an 8.9 for me.
Did you say your score for Predator?
Yeah, 8.7.
Did you? I didn't hear that at all. Nice. So it's in the ballpark, but not as
Oh,
good
it's a
as
great movie
Predators.
for sure. It's great. They're both like, honestly, it's one of those things where if I were to watch them like back to back, I could probably like switch them around.
Yeah, it's right there type of deal. We're sorry. Love you guys.